You know how let's just goodness, let me show you the response because that is something else. You know how this whole thing with Poland is pretty serious, even if I don't believe it will lead to any specific action. I don't believe it will lead to any specific results. I don't believe it will. Well, okay, it will result in helping Poland's anti-air capabilities. It will help bolster Poland's military. But the real effect that I think should happen, helping Ukraine more, I don't think that will happen from the 19 flying objects entering Poland's airspace. And I think that sends a message to Russia that maybe NATO will not react strongly if Russia moves into the Baltic states, but that's neither here nor there. The situation was nonetheless treated as something extremely serious. There was NATO Article 4 invoked, a meeting held by NATO members to discuss the situation. European leaders already have all announced one way or another support for Poland. Things are pretty intense. And in the midst of all that, we had that Trump little tweet. What's up with Russia violating Poland's airspace? Here we go. Remember that? And ever since then, we've got a new response from Trump because a reporter asked him, what's your reaction to Russia's drone incursion into Poland? And Trump's response basically is, well, let's see what Trump's response is to saying that, to the question of, what do you think about the Russian drones in Poland?
What's your reaction to Russian drone incursion into Poland?
Could have been a mistake. Could have been a mistake, but regardless, I'm not happy about anything having to do with that whole situation. But hopefully it's going to come to an end.
It could have been a mistake! There you go! It could have been a mistake. What do you know? Poland says that it has not been a mistake. The Polish government says that it's definitely been an action done purposely. I believe European leaders also echo that sentiment that it definitely was not just some accident, that it was not a mistake. But there is one country that does claim that it has been a mistake. Do you know what it is? Do you know what country says that it was a mistake? Russia. Yeah, that's right. Russia said that it was just a mistake and that the drones came from Ukraine anyway. And I find it very interesting that Trump in his rhetoric, Trump in his response to this incident, to this whole ordeal, to this whole mess, his response is to parrot the Kremlin party line. Doesn't it make you think? Doesn't that just kind of make you think how Trump's interest seems to align closely with Russia's? How, again, Trump has been all about pressuring Ukraine, pressuring the one country that is invaded and never pressures Russia on anything. In fact, invites Vladimir Putin, treats him as a friend, red carpet treatment, everything that's nice. And yeah, he likes Poland so much that he said that the drones entering Poland, it just could have been a mistake. It just could have been a mistake, even though it directly contradicts what the Polish government is saying on the matter. So, you know what? I don't think Trump liking Poland matters very much. I think it's a little bit of a hunch on I will admit that I'm just speculating, but I think Trump might like Russia more than he likes Poland. What do you think? Does Trump like Russia more than he likes Poland? That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Who does Trump consider to be a bigger player on the world stage, a more powerful country, a better business partner? I wonder, is it Poland or is it Russia? Who is he more ideologically aligned with? Is it Poland or is it Russia? It's just, wow. You just cannot decide. That's a tough one. It's a conundrum for me. I have to think about it. I will have to consider this matter very carefully if Trump likes Poland more or if he likes Russia more. You know, maybe the fact that he's parodying the Kremlin party line is in itself just a little bit of a mistake, right? Maybe he misspoke. Maybe Trump just misspoke because he is tired from his duties as a president. Just who knows? Who knows? It's a mystery. We will never know. And interestingly enough, so far, maybe something has changed since last time. I have seen no definitive statements of support from the United States of America. We speak of Trump liking Poland. We speak of the diaspora voting for Trump. And yet, I don't see any statement from the United States, any definite, nothing. No, no backing of Poland whatsoever, even though several countries have already declared that they will support actually pretty concretely Poland militarily. So no sign of support for Poland from the United States. None whatsoever, apart from Trump's weird, here we go, and it might have been a mistake. So there you go. Also, what do you mean by NATO have responded quickly and effectively? What has NATO done as an organization, as NATO? Apart from individual European countries pledging support from Poland. What has NATO done as an organization, actually, regarding this matter? It was so quick and effective. This is my question, I guess. Yeah, 3 out of 19 objects have been shot down from the sky. Yeah, sure, effective. Very quick and very effective. If 3 objects out of 19 have been shot down, I don't know. It feels to me like it was actually not very effective. But, you know, whatever. 16 objects just entered deep into Poland and ran out of fuel and fell down. That's, I would think that is actually not very effective. But, you know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Oh, no, all the objects were not tracked. All the objects were found. If you think all the objects were tracked, then why was a countrywide message sent to Polish people? If you find or encounter any drones, notify the government immediately. Why would you have that messages if all the objects were tracked? No, they were not tracked. Okay? Yeah. They were tracked into people's houses. Like, what do you mean they were tracked? Like, the Polish government, they just tracked a drone into a person's roof, destroying their livelihood? Is that the effective action of NATO, allowing people's houses to be wrecked by drones that were supposedly tracked? That's not effective. That's the opposite of effective. Why would you allow a tracked drone to wreck somebody's home? Which I talked about yesterday, that somebody's home was wrecked completely, which is going to be a segment. No, it wasn't shut down. No, that wasn't the shut down one. Also, why would you shut down a drone above somebody's house? All the drones were going towards settlements, by the way, and they just ran out of fuel. That was not, if that's the indicator of NATO responding effectively and quickly, then we're cooked, okay? We are cooked. Then Russia is just free reign to start its move on NATO, because that's embarrassing, you know? It's not good. Not good at all. Goodness gracious. And in this case, Trump's response does not help at all. It might have been, it's like a horrible response in line with the Kremlin. It's just Russian propaganda from the president's mouth. I already thought that the initial response was bad. The whole silly, what's with Russia violating Poland's airspace? Here we go. That was just goofy. Here we go. But now, I don't like anything regarding the situation, but it could have been a mistake. It could have been a mistake. Well, we all know what it was. It was the so-called checking the situation. It was probing the situation. Russia was very clearly probing how NATO would respond, how strongly it would respond. It was testing Poland's anti-air capability. It was just a one big test. To claim otherwise would be silly, especially since the drones came both from Belarusian as well as Ukrainian territory. The drones did not even just come from the Ukrainian territory. So the United States are really proving to be an amazing ally to everybody. Actually, what an amazing response. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. It could have been a mistake. This whole situation is such a wasted opportunity, by the way. this whole situation is a wasted opportunity. So far, I remain disappointed. This should not have been a moment of, oh wow, we will bolster Poland's anti-air capability. No, it should have been, from now on, we will make sure that no missiles or drones will even reach Polish territory. We will be shooting down drones when still in Ukraine and missiles. That should have been, that was the perfect opportunity for that to happen. But of course, alas, it did not. Alas, it was not. So the perfect opportunity to start protecting Ukrainian sky has been wasted once again.